I consulted a specialist about you, and they said what I already felt. You are unlike anyone I've ever known. The specialist's perspective made me pause. They saw qualities in you I hadn't fully realized myself. I went seeking answers about you, and their words caught me off guard. They recognized your rare brilliance. Even a trained eye couldn't ignore what I see every day. You leave a mark that lingers. I never expected a stranger to validate what my heart already knew about you. Their analysis surprised me. They described your essence in ways I hadn't dared to speak aloud. I asked for insight, and what I heard left me both awed and terrified. You are extraordinary. They told me something shocking, that your presence alone changes the energy of a room. I thought I knew you completely, but their word opened my eyes to depths I hadn't touched. The specialist's insight mirrored my own hidden fears and desires about you, and it stunned me. They said what no one had dared to. You are a force impossible to forget. I sought advice about you, and their truth was a mirror reflecting everything I feel silently. The more they explained, the more I realized how dangerously magnetic you are. I went for clarity, and their perspective made me understand how profoundly you affect me. I expected a professional opinion, but I received a revelation. You are unforgettable. They described your energy with words I've longed to hear, and it left me breathless. Their surprise was mine too. They saw the power in you I had only sensed. I asked for guidance, and they painted a picture of you I wasn't prepared to handle. I thought I knew your impact, but they measured it in ways I hadn't imagined. They said you possess a rare fire, one that makes ordinary hearts tremble. I consulted a specialist, and their words echoed what my instincts had been screaming. I wasn't ready for the truth, that you're more captivating than even a trained eye could comprehend. They analyzed you clinically, yet their admiration slipped through. You are remarkable. I went seeking wisdom, and I found my own feelings validated in the most astonishing way. The specialist noted what I could barely admit. You are more intense than anyone I've known. I asked for clarity, but all I got was confirmation that my fascination with you is justified. They said your presence is like a storm, beautiful, chaotic, and impossible to ignore. I never expected someone else to articulate the pull I feel toward you so clearly. They spoke of your qualities, and I realized I had been underestimating how extraordinary you are. Their perspective surprised me. Even in analysis, you resist being contained. I consulted a specialist, and their words left me simultaneously alarmed and mesmerized. They saw what I feared admitting. You are unforgettable, unshakable, and unstoppable. I sought a professional's view, and they revealed a truth I already knew in my bones. They told me your energy is rare, magnetic, overwhelming, and entirely consuming. I asked for insight, and they described the kind of person who stays in hearts forever. Even through clinical detachment, they couldn't hide their recognition of your intensity. They said what I've known quietly all along. You are dangerously captivating. I went for understanding, and their words made me realize just how extraordinary you truly are. They explained your traits, and it felt like my own emotions had finally been translated. Their insight was a mirror to my obsession, showing me truth I hadn't dared to speak. I consulted a specialist, and they confirmed that my fascination with you isn't irrational, it's inevitable. I thought I was alone in noticing, but their analysis made me see I wasn't imagining it. Their words lingered longer than I expected, reminding me that you are unlike anyone else. I asked for guidance, but all I received was an affirmation of my own undeniable feelings. They described your essence, and I realized you are someone the world underestimates. I sought insight about you, and it surprised me how perfectly they captured your spirit. Even a stranger could see what I can't stop thinking about every day. Your impact is enormous. They spoke clinically, but every word felt like poetry about you. I consulted a specialist, and for the first time, I felt my feelings reflected back in full clarity. They called your presence remarkable, and suddenly my obsession felt validated, frightening, and thrilling. I asked for an objective view, and they left me stunned with how extraordinary you truly are. Their surprise was genuine. They hadn't expected anyone to carry the weight of such intensity. I went seeking insight, and their perspective revealed the power I already felt coursing through me. They said what I've feared admitting, that you are unforgettable, inevitable, and impossible to resist. I went to a specialist about you, and they said something I can't stop thinking about. You're extraordinary. Their words made me shiver. Even a trained mind couldn't ignore the gravity of who you are. I sought advice, and they confirmed my unspoken fear that you are unforgettable in every sense. The specialist described your presence, and it left me feeling both terrified and magnetically drawn. I consulted someone, and they said what I never dared voice. You are rare, powerful, and consuming. Their perspective startled me. They saw a brilliance in you that I had barely begun to understand. I asked for insight, and their analysis revealed a truth I've carried silently in my heart. They said your aura is dangerous in the most beautiful way, and I couldn't disagree. I wanted guidance, but what I received was confirmation of the pull I feel toward you. The specialist's surprise mirrored my own. You are impossible to forget, impossible to ignore. I consulted someone, and they articulated the intensity I've only sensed in quiet moments. Their words caught me off guard. You are more magnetic than even I realized. I asked for clarity, and their revelation left me stunned. You are extraordinary, terrifyingly so. They explained what I couldn't say aloud, that your presence shifts everything it touches. I sought an opinion, and they reminded me why I've been captivated by you all this time. Their insight startled me. They recognized the fire in you that consumes hearts quietly. I consulted a professional, and even they couldn't ignore the way you dominate the space around you. Their analysis felt like a mirror to my obsession, terrifying, undeniable, and real. I asked for an objective view, and their words confirmed what I feared and craved. You are extraordinary. They told me something shocking, that your energy is rare, intoxicating, and impossible to forget. I went for guidance, and their words mirrored my own emotions in ways I couldn't have imagined. Even a trained eye couldn't help but notice your effect. It's devastatingly beautiful. I consulted a specialist, and their reaction told me what I've known all along. You are unforgettable. Their perspective made me realize that even professionals can't fully measure the gravity of your presence. I sought insight, and their words left me trembling. You are more intense than anyone I've ever met. They said you're magnetic, compelling, and impossible to resist, and I felt every word. I consulted a professional, and I left realizing the truth. You're unlike anyone the world has seen. Their words confirmed what I feared and adored about you, that you are extraordinary in every way. I wanted clarity, and what I received was an overwhelming reminder of your rare, undeniable power. They described your essence, and it echoed the way my heart reacts every time I see you. I asked for insight, and their surprise matched my own. You leave an impact that lingers endlessly. The specialist's words were honest, unsettling, and exhilarating. Just like you, I consulted them, and I realized you exist on a level few can even comprehend. They spoke of you with awe, and I felt my own obsession reflected back in their eyes. I went for guidance, and they left me in awe of your unshakable, magnetic presence. Their perspective illuminated everything I felt silently. You are impossible to forget, impossible to resist. I asked for advice, and what I received was a reflection of my own wild fascination with you. The specialist's words caught me off guard. They could see what I can't stop thinking about every day. I consulted a professional, and their insight only magnified the way I feel drawn to you. They told me your energy is unique, rare, and dangerously captivating, and I couldn't argue. I sought clarity, and I left knowing that even trained eyes can't measure your effect on hearts. Their perspective startled me. They described what I had always sensed, but never articulated. I asked a specialist, and their words made my heart race. You are extraordinary beyond comprehension. They said your presence leaves traces no one can erase, and I finally understood why I can't forget you. I wanted insight, and their perspective mirrored the intensity of the feelings I hide. Their words were both confirmation and revelation. You are rare, magnetic, and unforgettable. I consulted a specialist, and their reaction made me realize just how deeply I am captivated by you. They said what I've feared, admitting that you affect people in ways few can handle. I went seeking answers, and I found my own feelings reflected in their awe of you. Their insight left me stunned. Even professionals recognize the gravity of your presence. I asked for a perspective, and they articulated the intensity I've felt quietly for so long. They told me your energy is unique, consuming, and impossible to ignore, and they were right.